This is the Trews, this is the Trews today, it is the Trews, it's the Trews today. What happens now? You go, Trews, bomb. She goes for a bomb.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
That was quite good. This is Trews, another special edition with David
I
Baddiel.
watched the other day, it was on telly, there was quite a lot of stuff in the paper about it, so it sort of counts, that Tommy Cooper biopic. And you know the way that our culture does this now a lot? It's sort of like, we need to see replayed
our recent
history and things that we feel are of cultural texture or whatever. I feel we started this with Felix and the Flames in fantasy football.
You didn't invent
nostalgia. We invented it, but we did it generally.
People didn't have nostalgia when I was a kid.
No, but that's what struck me today. It's a serious point, also possibly a comic point, but somewhere in between the two, as we like to do on the Shrews, which is, they actually spent a long time in this thing recreating, like a Felix and the Flames, the death of Tommy Cooper. Obviously not with Tommy Cooper, because he's dead. So I watched it, I watched David Threlfall die, because it's very, very, very well done. Then I went, because you can watch it on YouTube, and watched Tommy Cooper dying. And then I felt really weird about it, because I thought, at some point, the director must have gone and watched that, and said, okay, David, can you just move your head slightly to the left? That's how Tommy Cooper died. He died like that.
Yeah,
right?
Not like that.
Not like that. Like that, yeah. So what they were doing was the actual death of a man that you can now see on YouTube, which is weird enough that you can see it, and very, very carefully getting it right. And it's in that getting it right that I feel a bit weird.
Why do you think it's interesting that it was meticulous? It's a reconstruction. It's a reconstruction of Tommy Cooper's
Because
life.
I don't think you have to. You don't have to make it. No, but that's the interesting point, Russell, about the news. Which is that there are things which are kind of interesting and weird and fascinating and might make you feel odd or whatever, which don't have to be judged morally, but the papers always think they do have to be, especially the tabloids. So the papers can never report on something neutrally. You know, like for example, Love Rap, which you read a lot about.
I do.
About men.
I normally am that Love Rap.
Yeah, you were quite often that Love Rap. But it might be the case that you could report on infidelity, for example.
Sympathetically?
Well, not sympathetically, no, neither.
This poor guy is wife not giving him enough attention.
In a morally neutral way, because
morally neutral guy has done a morally neutral thing.
To call someone a love rat implies a judgment about monogamy and...
That's because they know that this is not a good way to get information, so opinion is all we can get from them. American print media doesn't offer the same degree of opinion. It's less interested, isn't it? Gareth will tell you. If you look at New York Times, it's like, this thing happened, an area man did a local thing in an incident today. And it's sort of like, oh, who cares? You better start judging that bloke because he's poor or the colour of his skin or something, otherwise I can't remain engaged.
Yeah, but the assumptions are, they tend to be judgmental ones. That's what they always tend to be.
And I absolutely agree with you, but I agree with you 100%, but this judgment's what makes them interesting. It's also what makes them dangerous and negative and corrosive and will eventually bring about their demise, I think, over the next 5 to 10 years, certainly in this format.
Have we got an example of it?
Fruit and vegetables.
Oh, right. That's not a news item though, is it? That's an advert.
Yeah, but that's the main function of this newspaper, is to carry these little commercials.
Better off at Asda. Now hang on, why are you better off having mangoes or pineapples?
Tesco, £1.50 for a large mango.
I thought the difference was here, because normally if you ever spot the difference, I used to play this a lot in comics, it was these two. Not these two.
These ones are pineapples, these are mangoes.
Yeah, quickly, you've done it. That's the end.
I think that
I would have gone. I wouldn't have got any benefit from that advert because I'd said mangoes, pineapples, moved on.
I also think that you don't do challenging enough spot the differences because they're clearly
really
different
easy.
phenomena.
Yeah,
Blue Kit. Farage poster.
Blue Kit. Farage poster with naked photos too rude to describe. Where is this poster that's too rude to describe?
But immediately you're so intrigued by the idea that there's a rude picture.
No, straightforwardly.
You should be thinking about Farage.
I wouldn't like to see him naked.
Blue Kit.
I wouldn't like to see him naked. You know he's the same age as me.
Is he?
Isn't that a terrible thing?
To have him as the same age as you.
I know, that's really, really, along with Tommy Cooper's death,
things that are making you feel old.
No, disturbed. Disturbed at the idea that Nigel Farage is in fact the same age as me. It's a choice that Nigel Farage has made, indeed that I've made, to sort of try and remain not old in some way. Do
you think Farage has made his choice?
Well, he's made a choice, hasn't he, to adopt a kind of older idea of what a 49-year-old bloke should be like. I've clearly made an equally pathetic decision to try and adopt a younger idea of what a 49-year-old bloke. Yeah, but I mean, there might be a middle way between my over-juvenileness and his this is like what a proper 49-year-old grown-up bloke who likes a pint of beer, blah, 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 should look like. That's what I can't bear about Nigel Farage, actually.
What?
It's the whole fucking no-nonsense of
Well,
it.
he's taking part in a series of lewd acts now.
Has
They're
he?
going
Has
for
he?
him.
No, the aide has. He
Oh,
didn't.
key aide
Sadly,
to
he
the
didn't take part in
leader.
the sex act.
Now, what I think is interesting here is that there's two things. What the story is really about is like Nigel Farage's emergent power, which in one way is a positive thing for the Sun because the Sun want politics to move further to the right. Also, this story is good for them because it's an opportunity to objectify women. That's one of their sort of tacit agendas. And again, I don't think it's like, right, how can we objectify women today? I just think it's a milieu, it's just a mindset, it's just a frequency of consciousness. And this is a perfect piece of information for that. The Sun must find Nigel Farage a confusing figure because he does voice with clarity and a degree of sort of what do I want to say, eloquence, the opinions of their readers. If you talk to a lot of sort of people that you would imagine read the Sun, they like Nigel Farage and what he stands for. So the Sun can't make him a sort of a full-on enemy. Lizzie Vey, 27, photographed taking part in a series of lewd acts. The Sun has seen the sexually explicit shots, which are too graphic to reproduce or even describe.
Don't say in a family newspaper.
In a family newspaper. This is for a family. Right, everyone gather round, sit down. Right, now this will be a bit more racist. Okay, Daddy.
I'd like to know about the Sun's image of itself as a family newspaper is who is reading out, the Sun.
Come on, we're a family! Look at these tits! We're going to got to do some intelligent reading from Ramdas.
Yeah.
You can read something smart if you want and then analyse it.
But I have to lift my glasses up again. And then
Don't worry about
I'm aware only of my own mortality when I do that.
Don't worry about your own mortality.
Why? Who else is going to worry about it?
No one. No, I'm worried about it. Don't die for a while.
Okay, not until the end of the Trews.
That's right.
I don't know if it's any good.
Go on then.
Since Marx's goal was to change the world, not merely to understand it, ideas had to be formulated with a certain revolutionary intent. This inevitably meant a conflict with modes of thought more convivial to and useful for the working class. The fact that Marx's oppositional ideas have been the targets, particularly in recent years, of repeated repressions and exclusions, to say nothing of bowdlerisations and misrepresentations galore, suggests that they may still be too dangerous for the ruling classes to tolerate. While Keynes repeatedly avowed that he'd never read Marx. In the 1930s...
Michael Caine?
Yeah, Michael Caine.
I've never read Marx. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah. In the 1930s, he was surrounded and influenced by many people, like his economist colleague Joan Robinson, who had. I have an idea in my head now of Joan.
Yeah. Esther Ranson.
Do you think?
All I know is what I heard in there is that Marxism's a bloody good idea and they've been suppressing that information for ages and ages until someone sexy enough comes along to resurrect Marxism.
Yeah, it is fair to say, I think,
that
the Keynesian theory revolution could not have been accomplished without the subversive presence of Marx lurking in the wings. The trouble with Marx lurking in the wings is now brought to mind Tommy Cooper again. Because you know, when Tommy Cooper died, right, apparently Jimmy Tarbuck...
Can't handle a bit of Marx.
Jimmy Tarbuck was behind him, was behind the curtain, trying to hand him a prop for some big gag, and I don't think Jimmy Tarbuck knew that he'd died, and so he was still thinking...
Fucking come on, Tom!
Come on, I've got this plastic egg. I'm trying to hand you that's going to blow up. What are you doing?
Oh, Tom, you lazy bastard!
No, I think that
He's pissed again.
But that's what people thought. I have to say, the actual thing is the most incredible bit of footage, in a way.
Of Tommy Cooper
You
dying.
will feel prurient and awful and weird watching it, but in terms of the Trews, you could say, in terms of T.S. Eliot's point, that humankind cannot bear very much reality, by which he meant the reality of life and death. I would watch Death of Tommy Cooper, because in a moment, you go from laughter and showbiz and Live at Her Majesty's and Les Dennis waiting to come on, all that frippery, to a bloke in a huge cloak dying, and it is extraordinarily real.
Yes, some would say that spectacle is always masking death, that death is behind all these spectacles, and in an incident like the death of Tommy Cooper, suddenly what we recognise is, oh no, it don't matter how much fun we're having that we played him, it don't matter that Les Dennis is going to come and
doesn't matter,
we're all going to die.
Died.
They're all...
In fact, it's like an enormous Greek tragedy, that episode of Live at Her Majesty's.
They might as well have held it in a morgue. Coming up next, this Ronnie Barker.
Oh God,
they killed someone. Oh Jesus, I'm so sorry.
That was the truth, that was the truth. If you try doing it
it's a grim, sepulchral
trying to do it in a very sad way.
I've got some terrible news about Barry Humphries.